Hello and welcome to the Evening News for today, Monday, January 12, 2015. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, Britain says Guyana could face sanctions if prorogation continues. Rohi says Guyana does not have to listen to Britain. Lower Karakara man shot, family beaten during robbery. Woman jailed for trafficking cocaine. 23-year-old drunken man allegedly rapes 45-year-old aunt. And police still to obtain statement from gang-raped teen. Now for the news in detail. We start off by telling you that a continuation of the suspension of Guyana's parliament, with no date being named for the hosting of general and regional elections by the executive, could result in sanctions, as stipulated in the Commonwealth Charter being imposed on Guyana. Let's find out more in this report.
Outgoing British High Commissioner Andrew Eyre on Monday reiterated the United Kingdom's concern over the continued prorogation of Guyana's parliament. He pointed out that presently, with Guyana in breach of the Commonwealth Charter and its own constitution, it is possible that sanctions may be imposed on Guyana. He, however, made it clear that those sanctions are not going to be immediate.
Guyana could be subject to a critical review because of breaches to the Commonwealth Charter. All Commonwealth member states can be subject to that sort of review. We've seen before what's happened to countries that have had significant breaches of the Commonwealth Charter. I mean, two examples, Fiji and Zimbabwe. Fiji was suspended from the Commonwealth for a period of time. I'm glad to say that it's now back in the family of the Commonwealth following its elections. Zimbabwe remains outside of the Commonwealth because of breaches of democratic principles that have taken place there.
He pointed to several key fundamental outlines in the Commonwealth Charter and called on the President to honour the obligation by either resuming Parliament or naming a date for general and regional elections.
The suspension of Parliament on the 10th of November and the fact that it's not been resumed since then, clear breach of Commonwealth Charter, clear breach of Guyana's constitution. These things matter. The UK and other governments don't sign the Commonwealth Charter and don't sign things like the Sri Lanka Chogam Declaration and then just put them to bed. So I call on the government of Guyana to fulfil its international obligations. There's discussion about countries of concern in the Commonwealth. Every few months there's meetings and member states of the Commonwealth discuss countries of concern. Guyana is moving into a category of concern for the Commonwealth. I mean that is quite clear from discussions that take place.
It was also noted that the United Kingdom was making its position on the matter very pellucid, given the amount of investment that the country has in Guyana's economy. The United Kingdom in the last weeks have been very vocal about its position on the matter. This included a statement from Foreign Office Minister Tobias Ellwood, who said that the suspension of Parliament means that an, quote, essential element of a functioning democracy has been put on hold, end of quote. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Meanwhile, People's Progressive Party Civics General Secretary Clement Rohi today responded strongly to the concerns raised by the British High Commission over the prorogation of Guyana's parliament. Let's find out more from Alexis Rodney.
The concerns raised by outgoing British High Commissioner Andrew Eyre on Monday over the lengthy prorogation of Guyana's parliament was today downplayed by the General Secretary of the PPP, who said that Guyana does not have to listen to Britain on this matter. In fact, Rohi smudged at the continuous interference of members of the diplomatic community in Guyana's affairs. Since the prorogation of Parliament on October 10 last, government has come under severe criticism from stakeholders, both local and internationally, with many calling the move by the government unconstitutional. The British High Commissioner's call on Monday respectfully asked President Ramotar to honour his obligations and either resume Parliament or set a date for general and regional elections. But Rohi said Guyana does not have to answer to Britain.
This country has gotten its independence from Britain since 1966. We don't have to listen to what Britain says in respect to such pronouncements. This is an independent country. The British have their own arrangements there too. So, take it or leave it, twist it or turn it however you want to put it. The fact of the matter is Guyana is an independent country.
The prorogation of Parliament seeped into Guyana's constitution even after it gained independence from Britain. According to Rohi, this right has always been left to government's disposal.
Proroguing the Parliament is within the constitution. The prorogation could last for a particular period of time. I don't think and I don't know how long this prorogation period would last. but constitutionally it could last for a particular time. But the president has said that, in January, that we will hear about the date for elections, and at the same time the dissolution of the parliament, within a certain time frame. The president is overseas right now. I don't think he could announce it overseas.
Rohi said Guyana remains an independent country and has reached its pinnacle from the hard work put out by its people. President Donald Ramotar on October 10 last put an end to the sittings of the National Assembly after his administration was threatened by a no-confidence motion by the junior political opposition, the Alliance for Change. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
And the outgoing British High Commissioner Andrew Eyre today confirmed that his successor would be taking office sometime in February.
James Gregory Quinn would be assuming the post as High Commissioner of the United Kingdom to the Republic of Guyana in February. Commissioner Quinn will be replacing current British High Commissioner to Guyana Andrew Eyre, who has been serving in Guyana since 2011.
The new High Commissioner has been named. It's Mr. Greg Quinn. He's arriving in Guyana in February. There are absolutely no plans for him not to arrive.
High Commissioners from Britain have been serving in Guyana since the country's independence in 1966. The UK High Commission is tasked with developing and maintaining relations between the United Kingdom and the Republic of Guyana, along with the Republic of Suriname. High Commissioner Eyre joined the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in 1986. He previously served as the head of the EU Budget and European Council's team at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and his previous postings include Warsaw, Tel Aviv, and Vienna. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchan.
The police today reported that approximately 3 hours 55 Godfrey Marks, aged 43, of Lower Karakara squatting area in Linden, was confronted by 4 men as he went to investigate why dogs were barking in the neighborhood. The police said that while making checks, Marks was shot to his left shoulder by one of the men as they entered his home and demanded valuables. Marks' wife and 9-year-old son were assaulted by the perpetrators, who escaped empty-handed. He is being treated at the Mackenzie Hospital in Linden. The ongoing internal conflict of a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, and its mother party, the People's National Congress Reform, could harm not only the party themselves, but the electoral process. More from Alexis Rodney.
APNU's PNC leader David Granger has reportedly come under severe criticisms from grassroots supporters for imposing a militarized structure on the leadership of the coalition, drawing a wide cross-section of former military personnel to serve at its helm. Concerns brew also over the alleged increase in isolation of party stalwarts from leaders within the APNU. These, among other issues, including the recent announcement by the party leader that he was foregoing a previous decision to use the primaries model for the selection of a presidential candidate for the party, have reportedly stirred up trouble within the PNC, the major player within the APNU coalition. PPPC's General Secretary Clement Rohi on Monday said that his party is very much concerned about these issues.
We believe in, multi-party democracy. The PNC has been one of the main players in the electoral process and the democratic process in our country since 1992. And as I said, we are firm believers and adherents to political stability. So we don't want any type of political stability at this time that will flow from the kind of, internal wranglings we see taking place within the PNC.
Rohi cited the recent clash in Linden reportedly between supporters of party leader David Granger and one-time leadership contender Sharma Solomon. That with the decision to enter into secret talks with the Alliance for Change and moves toward a coalition, without consulting with the electorate, puts the party at a desperate point at the political crossroad.
Party faithfuls are fearful that in a horse trading and bargaining process between the PNC and the AFC, the PNC could very well end up ceding the presidential candidate and key positions to outsiders who, according to party faithfuls, made no contribution to the struggles nor to the strengthening and the development of the PNC.
The General Secretary says many party stalwarts have indicated that there is a growing sense of alienation, disillusion and demoralization among the membership. According to him, all these could prove harmful to the political fortune for the party at the upcoming general and regional elections. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
Now for some news from the courts. 24-year-old Althea Timmerman of Lot 1255, Caneview Avenue, South Rhinefeldt in Georgetown, was today sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to trafficking in narcotics. The mother of one appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Courts before the Chief Magistrate, Priya Sinarayan Bihari. It is alleged that on January 1 at Ogle International Airport, she had in her possession 1.134 kilograms of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. The unrepresented defendant admitted to the offense. The city magistrate explained that such a charge is accompanied by a mandatory penalty, that is, a minimum of 3 years imprisonment along with a fine. The defendant, however, maintained that she pleaded guilty as she had initially entered. She then begged the court's mercy, stating that she was a single parent with a 5-year-old daughter and was very sorry for what she had done. Timmerman was then slapped with the 3 years sentence along with a fine of $30,000. This is the Evening News. Stay tuned, more news still ahead. Welcome back. This is the Evening News on TVG. A senior rank within the Guyana Police Force told its newscast that investigating ranks were yet to obtain a statement from the 18-year-old supermarket worker gang raped allegedly by several men, including his best friend on Old Year's night. The rank stated that the mother of the teenager, who remains hospitalized, made a report to the police and that report was being investigated, but he stressed on the importance of getting a statement from the victim. He added that 2 ranks visited the patient at a hospital on Saturday afternoon, but due to the condition of the teenager, they were unable to get anything out of him. Nevertheless, they would have reportedly spoken to the doctor who was treating the teenager to gather some information. He also confirmed that the teenager was arrested, but was subsequently placed on bail after the 72 hours detention period expired. The teenager who was in custody has denied being involved in the act. Since there was no evidence against the young man, the police had no alternative but to release him. However, the family of the hospitalized teen are holding out that he played a major role in the entire ordeal. The Surinamese government says while Guyanese bus drivers have the right to operate in the country, they must first apply for the necessary license to do so. The Ministry of Transport, Communications and Tourism made the announcement after bus drivers earlier this month called on the authorities to find a solution to the problem whereby Guyanese bus drivers transporting passengers to the Suriname-Guyana border now travel to the capital, Paramaribo. The ministry said it has requested that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs help arrange a meeting with its transport counterparts in Guyana, and that it has also requested information from the Guyana Embassy about what was required from Surinamese bus drivers who want to take passengers beyond the western border. Bus drivers in Suriname blocked the road to and from South Drain in District Nakeri 2 weeks ago, where the Kanawaima ferry berths, protesting the action of their Guyanese counterparts. The bus owners say they have been complaining of unfair competition from the Guyanese drivers for 4 years, and it was time for the government to take action. Stay tuned, more news ahead. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. 3 young men were apprehended moments after they allegedly committed a robbery on a Rhinefeldt resident in the wee hours of Monday. The incident reportedly took place at Lot 6 Public Road, Rhinefeldt in Georgetown at around 6 hours as the owner of the house went to check on an unusual sound that was coming from the yard. According to information received, the 3 men, one of whom was armed with a handgun, accosted the occupant of the house and took him inside. In the house, they reportedly demanded money and valuables from the man, but he insisted that he did not have any money at his home. The men proceeded to ransack the home, and after which they did not get the money. They took away the man's laptop and mobile phone before making good their escape. Moments after the robbery, the victim contacted the Rhinefeldt police station, which is a stone's throw away. The police ranks there reportedly contacted a mobile patrol unit that was in the area, and owing to the quick response, the men were arrested as they made their way through Alexander Village. A senior police rank confirmed that the laptop and mobile phone were recovered, but a gun was not found in their possession. Charges are expected to be laid shortly. In this report, we'll hear now that there was another ruckus at City Hall today. Here's Royden James with the details.
This is not a town clerk who will go with an instruction that is irregular and does not conform to any law, rules, or regulations. Because we are councillors, mayor and councillors, and a political arm, you can do anything that you want to do outside of the regulation and the laws. And this town clerk must abide by it and attach her signature to checks. I would not do it.
Chaos and confusion reigned supreme today when the mayor and councillors held their annual statutory meeting at the City Hall. According to the acting town clerk Carol Sober, she will not be issuing any more free money to the mayor and councillors. But in the meantime, Mayor Hamilton Green noted that the acting town clerk continues to cut the money of the councillors, even though he had written her about the issue.
There was a unanimous decision by this council was that that person should put in writing within 14 hours
There's a specific reason you want my
a
signature.
reason for deducting money from the stipend of council. In my notes, I was very careful to refer to two councillors who established beyond a shadow of a doubt, if the contention was that they had not been attending meetings, Council Ross and Baslew.
Yes, your mother-in-law, you want this town clerk go and sign checks to check to give your mother-in-law, Council Baslew, monies that she's not entitled to.
Deputy Mayor Patricia Chase Green contended that the council should take a positive approach since it is a new year.
I don't know that this council, I know there's one Mrs. Sybil Bastio as a councillor, and it is meant to be professional and decent. But if you're incompetent, unqualified for a position of which you hold, you will have this kind of behavior at meetings. 2015 is a different year. We will not tolerate such behavior. If you are addressing Councillor Sybil Bastio, I will ask you to do so in a proper manner.
For the Evening News, Royden James reporting.
The Protected Areas Commission will be hosting a public meeting on the draft management plan for the Kanuku Mountains Protected Area, that's the KMPA, located in Region 9, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo, with support from the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Environment tomorrow. The event will take place at the Protected Areas Commission National Park, Thomas Lands in Georgetown. The objectives of the meeting are to present a draft management plan for the Kanuku Mountains Protected Area, to seek stakeholders' feedback based on their review of the draft management plan, and to seek stakeholders' input on the implementation of the management plan. The KPMA was first proposed as a potential protected area in 1999 as part of establishing a protected area system for Guyana. And a 23-year-old man is presently in police custody after he was accused of raping his 45-year-old aunt at her home at number 67 Village Current in Berbice on Sunday evening. The woman, who was sexually assaulted in the rear, was taken to the Skeleton Hospital where she was treated and sent away. The police have since taken a statement from the traumatized woman. According to information reaching this newscast, the man, who was under the influence of alcohol, went to the woman's place, and while there, an argument broke out. In an effort to calm the woman, he reportedly placed his arms around the woman's shoulder and pet-talked her. He then lured the woman into the house where he started to strip her clothes off. Although he was drunk, the woman was unable to fight him off due to his strength. During the ordeal, the neighbors heard the woman screaming and went to her rescue. They found the drunken man in the house and gave him a thrashing. He managed to escape and was apprehended by police ranks in the Springland district. He reportedly told police ranks that he was drunk and was not in his senses when he committed the act. The police are in the process of instituting charges against the man. Stay tuned. Your regional, international, and bridge reports are still ahead. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. This is the Evening News. In the region now, Haiti was today marking the 5th anniversary of the powerful earthquake that killed an estimated 300,000 people and left more than 1 million others homeless, with the Organization of American States, the OAS, pledging its commitment to the French-speaking Caribbean community country to rebuild its battered economy and infrastructure. But even as the government continues to seek assistance from international community, hundreds of opposition supporters took to the streets on Sunday, demanding the resignation of President Michel Martelly, who is seeking to resolve a standoff over elections. At least 7 people, mainly students, died after a minibus plunged into the sea in Rockcooter, an area between Ohio and Fancy on the northeastern tip of St. Vincent early on Monday. Police and government officials say that 5 bodies have so far been recovered from the sea and 1 person died in hospital. Another person died on the way to the medical institution. Internationally, officials say Indonesian divers have retrieved the flight data recorder of the crashed Asia Area flight QZ8501. They believe they have also located the cockpit voice recorder, the second part of the so-called black box, but divers have not yet managed to reach it. Air Asia flight QZ8501 disappeared in bad weather on December 28 with 162 people on board. The aircraft, which was flying from Surabaya in Indonesia to Singapore, is thought to be deep in the Java Sea. Dozens of bodies have been recovered, but most of the victims are believed to still be inside the fuselage, which has not yet been found. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the evening news. We now take a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed from 8 hours 30 on Tuesday, January 13, for a period of 1.5 hours, and the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed from 7 hours 15 on Tuesday, January 13, for a period of 1.5 hours. Join us after a break for sports, sponsored by Maccorp. This is the evening news.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Brit.
Welcome back. Now for a look at sport, but first the headlines. Jamal Shabazz appointed head coach for Barbados clash. Gale lashes out at WICB for omitting Pollard and Bravo. Bacchus remains Essequibo Cricket Board president, and Cristiano Ronaldo is World Footballer of the Year. Of course, the sportcast comes with the kind compliments of Maccorp.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Brit.
Welcome back. We start off with some football news. The charismatic Jamal Shabazz has been appointed by the Normalization Committee of the Guyana Football Federation as head coach of the Golden Jaguars for the February 1 match with hosts Barbados. It signals a third coming for the Trinidadian, who has enjoyed tremendous success with Guyana's national team over the years.
And I appeal to all the factions in Guyana football that this is about players, and the game have got to stop the fighting and the animosity and the warring for who tournament and who this and who is coach and who is president and who. Time to stop. FIFA has come in and made a decision, and they have brought a leader to settle and place Guyana football in the rightful place.
That was the message by Jamal Shabazz at today's press briefing, where he was introduced as the Golden Jaguars head coach for the clash against hosts Barbados on February 1. It represents a third stint for Shabazz in Guyana's football after he served in the same capacity from 2005 to 2008 and then from 2011 to 2012. Shabazz has had tremendous success with the national team, guiding them to an unprecedented 13 straight wins in his first stint, resulting in a rise in the FIFA rankings, and then leading the Jaguars to the CONCACAF semi-finals of the 2014 World Cup qualifiers for the first time in history. Shabazz's third coming, however, is set to be the most challenging yet, with off-field problems rendering the Golden Jaguars inactive since November 2012.
Guyana football is at a stage where it's at its most animosity. And, it's a difficult period. Not unlike other sports, some other sports in Guyana, and politics in Guyana.
Chairman of the Normalization Committee, Clinton Erling, in his remarks, stated that Shabazz has been appointed solely for the Barbados game and a decision on the long-term head coach will subsequently be made.
I think our focus at the moment is to focus on the Barbados game, and then we sit down with the technical team. Shabazz is now part of that technical team, and we'll decide on the most appropriate steps until June for the World Cup qualifiers, who will be the head coach for the team moving forward.
Newly appointed technical director Claude Bolton expressed elation about forming a strong alliance with Shabazz as they work to lift Guyana's football out of the misery that has pervaded the game.
I mentioned at our press conference that it's the players that take us, and we have the privilege of being able to be part of them. So, and I think I can hear that again in Mr. Shabazz. And one thing I wanted to say is I do know some mechanics will find an old rusted piece and turn it into the most expensive when they're finished, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Meanwhile, a squad for the Barbados game will be encamped from January 22 under Shabazz, Bolton and assistant coach Wayne Dover. Cricket news. Faisal Bacchus was on Sunday re-elected unopposed as president of the Essequibo Cricket Board at the board's annual general meeting at the Cricket's hostel in Anna Regina. Bacchus's challenger, Prince Holder, failed to receive any nomination. The win means that Bacchus will serve another 2 years as head of the Essequibo Cricket Board. The entire executive was returned unopposed. The ECB's executive body reads Bacchus President, Totaram Ramnarine, the Vice President, Arthur Christiani, Secretary, Andy Ramnarine, the Assistant Secretary, Darren Chintamani, the Treasurer, Alvin Johnson, the Assistant Treasurer, Anthony Murray, Marketing Manager, and Varna Degar, the Chairman of the Competitions Committee. West Indies opener and former captain Chris Gayle has lashed out to the West Indies Cricket Board for omitting all-rounders Dwayne Bravo and Kieran Pollard from the 15-member World Cup squad for next month's tournament in Australia and New Zealand. Let's find out more in this report. After hammering a match-winning 90s that helped the West Indies win the T20 series against South Africa, Gayle launched a scathing attack on the West Indies Cricket Board and the Clive Lloyd-led selection panel for dropping the senior pair of Dwayne Bravo and Kieran Pollard from the ODI series and the World Cup. Repeatedly labelling the move as ridiculous, Gayle felt it was a case of victimization against the two Trinidadian all-rounders. Gayle said, and I quote, "How can those two guys not be in the team? To me, it got to be like victimization when you look at it towards those two guys. Come on, guys, it is just ridiculous. Come on, ridiculous. Really hurt. Ridiculous. Honestly, it threw me off. We can only talk. We can express our feelings, which I am doing at this point in time. The squad already is announced. It is just sad." End quote. On Saturday, the WICB announced the 15-man squad to be led by Jason Holder with Marlon Samuels as vice-captain. There was no mention about Bravo and Pollard, who had earlier been ignored for the ODI series against South Africa. Gayle, whose blazing starts were instrumental in West Indies chasing big totals in successive matches, including the highest successful T20 chase on Sunday, said he was glad he could dedicate the series victory to Bravo and Pollard. Gayle's blunt attack came a day after the WICB released a list of 12 players granted central contracts. That list did not include Gayle, who said he could only express disillusionment over the omissions at this stage, but smelt Bravo and Pollard paying a price. Also, Gayle did not mention it directly. He was referring to the India tour last October, when Bravo, as ODI captain, led the boycott against the WICB and the West Indies Players Association over a contracts dispute and pulled out of the tour. And finally, some football news. Real Madrid forward Cristiano Ronaldo has been named World Footballer of the Year after winning the Ballon d'Or award for the second year in a row. The Portugal captain beat Barcelona forward Lionel Messi and Bayern Munich goalkeeper Manuel Neuer to the award. Wolfsburg and Germany midfielder Nadine Kessler was named Women's Player of the Year, while Colombia's Jaime Ramirez won the Goal of the Year award. And with that, we've come to the end of sport, which is sponsored by MarCorp. And that's a wrap as well in the evening news for today, Monday, January 12, 2015. Of course, you can find these and many more stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in George Sugan Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. On behalf of all of us here, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.